Om Tat Sat. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, to the Divine Mother and all sages and saints, and to each of you divine soul watching today's satsang. We are currently studying the scripture Mysticism of Devi Mahatmya, Worship of God as Mother. Commentaries by my Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So today we will be completing the mystic meaning of the story that we have covered from Devi Bhagavatam, story of King Nahusha. So that's what we completed yesterday, and we will be covering the mystic meaning today, and tomorrow we will be concluding the entire scripture of Devi Mahatmya, Mysticism of Devi Mahatmya. So let's get started on the mystic meaning of the story of King Nahusha. So this story symbolically portrays the rise and fall of ego as represented by Nahusha. So when a person performs sakamya karmas or actions prompted by the desire for heavenly enjoyment, the fruits he reaps from doing such actions leads him to heavenly enjoyments. But enjoying that fruit of righteousness is not equivalent to attaining liberation. King Nahusha was a great monarch who performed many good deeds, but as we saw, simply performing good deeds with no philosophical insight does not eliminate ego. And if ego is present, there will always be a basis for degradation. The vast majority of people do not understand what the goal of life is. Many people perform good deeds, relatively speaking, according to their concept of what is good, because they think that doing so will get them to heaven. But if you have philosophical insight, you do not seek a reward in heaven. You seek the dissolution of ego itself. You perform actions for chitta shuddhi or purity of the heart, not for enjoyments on the astral plane. Another point illustrated by the parable is that if the unconscious has not been purified, if real aspiration has not developed, then possessions, power, and glory all create a twisted intellect. If a person lacking purity of intellect attains great power, he becomes swollen-headed. If you cannot handle power, you will fall. And that is what happened to Nahusha. Becoming a snake is symbolic of remaining in the realm of relativity, in a realm where there is karma and birth and death. Shachi is the principle of pure intellect, which cannot be owned by ego. Any effort to dominate the intellect by an egoistic process is a movement that will lead one to degradation. So we will conclude this whole book and this scripture tomorrow with the final conclusion of the mysticism of the story of King Nahusha. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Om Tat Sat.